Right, let's go live. Just because it's a slow Friday afternoon in the market. Why wouldn't you go live? Sellers are leaving money on the table, or more specifically, sellers are about to leave a bunch of money on the table. It's just the way it's going to be over the next little bit. It's because it's human nature. There's no getting away from it. It's going to happen. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean here today. I'm going to get into a couple of charts because obviously realtors, we get a bad name. We get a bad name because we either want a quick sale or we want the asking price to go up or whatever it happens to be. But the market isn't what it was. The market's returned to normal, if not even shifting towards a negative market currently in Surrey and the Fraser Valley, not so much Vancouver, but definitely Surrey and the Fraser Valley. It's a soft market. And with softening of the market, if that's a word, eventually you will get prices coming down. They're starting to reflect that right now. Not so much in benchmark pricing, but average pricing. So people are shifting towards lower price properties. Benchmark pricing will come down as actual property values start to come down. And that's what we're going to see. So it is what it is. And unfortunately, we seem to not be able to, I don't know, what do you call it? Save sellers from themselves, I guess. You just can't do it. So it is a live stream. There is a chat open. If you're watching and you have questions about the market, I'm going to set aside time for that. So put your chats. Let me know you're here if you're listening, if you're watching. Put your comments in the chat. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. It really helps out. I had a big video this week with tons of subscribers, so I really appreciate that. But let's talk about the market and pricing your home for sale in this market, because as prices are going to continue to slide here over the next, I don't know, could be 60 days, could be 90 days, could be a year. Who knows how long it's going to take for prices to recover? Could be 5 years. I mean, we don't know. Nobody can predict. But there's a reason why we want you to price right as real estate agents. Let's say, for instance, the last sale on your street was $1 million. Let's say it was $1 million. And there's a lot of agents that are going to say, okay, I want to get you listed at $1 million, or let's list it at $1,029,000. So there's a little bit of wiggle room. What does every seller want to do? Every seller wants to come to the market and try to go for $1,050,000 or 1.1. You can't blame them. They want to try. But there's a reason you don't want to try. The reason you don't want to come to market high is because buyers are not stupid. And right now, buyers are even fearful. But buyers are not dumb. Buyers know exactly what they're doing. And so do agents. No, maybe not. Okay, most agents know exactly what they're doing. But you have to think of going to the market like this. This is the analogy I use with my clients. If we sit down together and go over the market, I'm going to tell this to you. I've told this to 3 people this week on listings. When you go to the market, the MLS is a party. Figure it like a ball going on. Figure it like your high school prom, if that's still a thing. I don't even know if that's still a thing. There's a party going on. Everybody's in the gym, let's call it. Everybody's having a good time. Everybody's dancing. Maybe it's a nightclub and everybody's having booze. Hopefully, well, in my high school grad, there was a lot of booze, but that's another topic. There's a party going on. And you're coming to the party. You're like Cinderella entering the ball. And if you come into the party not in this market specifically, if you're not dressed to the nines and turning heads, everybody does turn their head. They notice you coming in the room. Don't worry. They're always going to notice you coming in the room. But it's a different party now. If you want to find a lady in the party, you better wear the nice suit, guys, right? Like you got to come in presented properly to present yourself to the market because everybody's going to notice. And if you don't come to the party properly, In this market, it's not going to happen. Nobody's drunk on real estate. This is not 2:00 in the morning, lights are on, whoever's left gets a sale. That's not this. We're not drunk on real estate right now. It'll probably happen again. It's not happening right now. So you have to present yourself in the party. You can't come in your joggers and your your tearaway track pants. It's not going to happen. That's what people might have worn to my prom. It's just not going to happen. So you have to present yourself nice, because once you're in the party for a while, you're just another member of the party. And you kind of become old news until, of course, maybe later on in the party, people start getting drunk on real estate. But it's a long party. So here's why I bring this up. And I actually want to show you a graph. When you come to the market, personally, I want my listings to hit on the market on a Tuesday or Wednesday. The reason is very simple. It's not proprietary information. It's not something crazy. If I hit on a Friday, the listing might not hit. All my marketing won't be in place. I want to hit on Tuesday, get all my marketing in place for the week. Most of the action happens on the weekend. In a regular market, most people are viewing properties on the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, Friday night, Thursday evening. So you got to come to the market right. But as you stay in the party, you turn less heads. It's the way it is. People are less interested. And then only the new people coming to the party pay attention to you when they walk in. So let's say the people at the party are the buyers. Well, could be the guys or gals at the party or whatever. The opposite sex is the buyers. Let's call it that. If you're there too long, and they're not making a move, it's probably because you may not have presented yourself correctly. It's kind of how it goes. And then they lose interest. And then they're looking at who else is coming in the door over time. But when those people come in, let's say, for instance, you're waiting for a buyer to come. Now you've missed the party that's already going on, and your chance to find a suitor is only the next person walking through the door. And there's not as many people walking through the door as often as there is already a big party going on. That's the MLS. So let me show you this. If you want to comment, please comment. I'll get to questions about the market and all that stuff a little bit better on. Okay, let's take a look at this. So this is a legit real graph. I screenshotted this from one of my listings in the Realtor app. On our phones, realtors can log into the back end. We can see how much traffic has happened on our listings, not from our Paragon back end site for realtors, but from the public. So this is the public. My listings hit on Tuesday. There's a reason they hit on Tuesday. Internet traffic. Everybody's at work. Nobody wants to, don't hit on Friday. Nobody's paying attention because they already know what they're going to see for the weekend. So you hit on a Tuesday. For instance, this particular listing, I'm going to say that's about 145 people on day one viewed the property online. On day two, let's call it 135. On day three, because you've been at the party for a little bit now, that drops by like half. That's like 75 people view it, and so on and so on and so on. And if you miss that first weekend, by Monday, the next week, less than 20 people are looking at your property. You've missed the chance. You've missed the opportunity if you've chosen to price your home higher, because then the people aren't very interested. It's very simple. You, in this market, need to be the best and most wonderful thing coming to the party. That's the way it is. So you have to price well. But it's not just that simple. I mean, for sure, it is. I guess I should go. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for this analogy or not, but if you didn't price well, if you didn't hit your marketing in the right step, if you didn't get your marketing out there, if you don't necessarily maybe have an open house or whatever it is to attract all the people to you this week, they're passing you over. Most of that right now is price. The overwhelming majority of that is price. So the reason I show you this particular graph, it's just a great representation of the people making an error to wait next week or the week after or the week after or the week after to lower your price. Because you've lost all the momentum. The momentum's coming in the first week. Your most amount of showings for your property will be in your first week or after you do a significant enough price reduction where it's like you're re-entering the ball, kind of. It's refreshing the listing. I can't stress how often, like every single one of my listings looks like this after the first week. The amount of interest happens immediately. So don't just try this in this market. Try this price, let's say, and we can always reduce later. The reason is you will leave money on the table. And the reason or how that works, I'm going to show you this right here. Wow, there's 46 people on right now. Look at that. Only 2 comments, though. Our Toronto. Awesome. Love you. Yeah, long time podcast watcher, too, I believe. So, Jeep Bath, good videos. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Here is a price chart. Now I'm going to try to explain to you why you can misprice in a good market and why you can't misprice in a down market. If you have all those interested parties at the beginning and you price for, let's say you priced for 1.6 in January of 2023. So you priced here at 1.6, but you came on the market and the market said you were worth 1.47. Give it enough time. You're on the market now for 1, 2, 3, 3.5 months. You'll get your price. Eventually, even though you're a stale listing, you've been on the market for 110 days, all the other listings are gaining value around you. You're at 1.6. Eventually, somebody's going to offer because they're sick of losing out on all the properly priced properties. So they're going to offer. You will eventually catch your price. Pretty simple. If I price here, and the market's here and it's going up, I'm going to catch that price. But right now, it's a different thing. For instance, right now you're seeing just kind of, this is Surrey combined detached, so that's the numbers I'm showing you right now. It's a flattening, but I'm telling you, it's not going in the right direction. When you look at average price, it's actually declining. But let's focus on HPI right now. When the market starts to decline, for instance, like last summer, it started to decline, just like it's going to do likely this summer. If you priced your home at 1.7, hoping to get there, that price never reached that 1.7. This line at the top that you can't see behind my big fat head is 1.7. You're never going to get there. So you price at 1.7, the market tops out at 1.675, you don't get offers, and then the market starts to decline. Now, your agent said, hey, you know what? You should probably come on. Market's not doing so hot. You should probably come on at like 1.669, let's say, because then you would have sold. But you didn't do that. And you didn't do that for 1, 2, 3 months. And then you go, okay, you know what? It's 3 months on the market. I do want to sell now. You know what, Mr. Mrs. Agent? I will now drop my price to that 1.669 that you recommended I sell at in the first place, you know, when you were just trying to get that quick sale. Well, the realities of the market are here. The market dropped now another $30,000 below that. So you only caught up with prices from 60 days ago, 90 days into your listing. And the reality is now, if you wanted to sell in October, 1.669 wouldn't work anymore, and you would have to be at, well, in this case, 1.639 or less. And let's face it, sales do lag, right? Like, you're going to come to the market, and then it's not like every day the property just hits that day and it sells that day. Sometimes it takes a week or 2 or 3. So if the numbers say 1.639 in this case as your list price, by the time the numbers come out, you're already down another 20 grand. So if you don't then list less than what you're even being recommended probably by your agent, you're still not going to sell. The only way to sell in a declining market is to get under it, knowing that it's going to be lower next month. And this is why a whole bunch of sellers right now are going to leave money on the table. There's a whole lot of sellers that now, In this market, maybe I can get out of this and come back to it if people ask to. Let's go there. In this market, there is, I have some listings where I thought we had them at good prices and the market changed. Like, I can't read a crystal ball. Nobody else can either. They don't work very well. If you have one, the market can change and then you have to react. So there are listings that I have currently right now on the market where we thought we were saleable. Now we're not saleable. So that can happen. But when your agent comes to you and says, listen, I think you need to be here in order to sell, in this market, you likely even need to be lower than that. It's not good news. It's not good news for sellers, and they don't like to hear it, but it is the truth. Now, I get accused on this channel and the podcast channel, the Tom Story Show channel, of being a pumper of the market. I only want prices to go up. I'm here right now saying prices don't look like they're going up. If anything, I actually want prices to come down. Completely selfishly, I would love prices to plummet, because if I could afford my next home, I'm ready to upsize. If I could afford my next home for half the mortgage, that would be great. But I don't see that happening either. I do see prices coming down. Sorry, I'm going to have my protein shake now. So we are in a spot where, no, your agent likely didn't just want you to price low for the sake of a quick sale. They knew that if you would have sold back in in July of 2023, that the market was headed downwards. So you think they wanted a quick sale, and they actually, if you would have listened to them, they would have helped you put more money in your own pocket in the beginning. And I think that's likely going to happen now. I think you're super good video, right? My alarm just went off for my protein shake. I'm trying to keep the weight off. It is not as sinister as everybody thinks. We know it. We've seen it before. A lot of agents haven't seen it in their career because we haven't had a market like this since 2014 or before. Any agent that's saying to you right now, at this point in time, that maybe you should take it off the market and wait for January, I think that's foolish. I think next spring is a foolish thing to consider. Because I just don't see it. I don't see it changing over the next little bit. I think we're going to see a steady downward slide. And then that brings us on to the other side of pricing right now. There is still the problem of pricing, specifically pricing under what you're actually willing to accept. The reason is because often it works. Double fisting here. Look at this. I got protein shake and coffee. The sad scenario is it is working. For instance, you'll see a listing on the market at $500,000 for a one-bed condo. It won't sell. It won't sell. It won't sell. It's probably worth $470,000, $480,000, maybe $460,000. Like, it's probably in there somewhere. And they just won't get offers. And then what does the agent do? You really want to get this thing gone? Watch this. They'll drop it down to $399,000, knowing full well they're not going to accept anything less than $450,000. And it sells. Because buyers, for some reason, are looking for those low price. I think it's almost, well, maybe it doesn't always sell, actually. Maybe that's like the equivalent of what I talked about earlier, where you're entering the ball and you're like, holy crap, look at that one. Like, she's gorgeous. She comes in and you find out she's got a really bad attitude later on, right? You find out like, hey, I'm going to go ask her to dance. You ask her to dance and it turns out false advertising, false eyelashes, and the whole bit, right? Like, maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But a lot of people end up going home with those listings. So it does work some of the time. I just don't really, I don't promote that style because I think it's just bad. Like, buyers, you do that long enough, you're short for the industry. If you screw around buyers long enough and piss them off in a market specifically like this one, eventually you'll have no business. It's just the way it's going to be. Holy, we're almost about to break 100 people listening to me yammer about the market. So that's what's going on in the market. If you overprice right now in the market, you're not going to sell. Even if you probably price right now in the market, you may not sell in some categories. And some of them, you may feel like you're even underpricing slightly, and those will likely be the sales that sell for more now than they will in September or October. So that being said, that's going to have all the buyers sitting on their hands waiting for a better option, which they have the power to do right now. So I don't blame them for doing that. I don't think it's smart, because when the buyers are all now going to wait until the market turns around again to jump back in and get into the frenzy. You remember that part at the beginning? If you were watching, I said buyers are smart. They are. But sometimes they're too smart for their own good, and they wait for the market to turn around again. Then they jump in. They're paying more than they would have. So as a buyer, you have so many options right now. It's so nice right now to be able to get a property that you like. And then as a result, a lot of people are not taking advantage of that. So maybe I'll try and get to some questions now and get my protein shake in here before the weekend when I drink too much and eat a cheeseburger or something. I lost 50 pounds last year. I've only gained 10 of it back. Doing not bad. First impressions and psychology matter. Of course. First impressions of a listing matter. This is why if you hire an agent that doesn't have the photos up on day one, I mean, it's like keying your own car. You know how many buyer clients of mine are like, I don't even look at the ones that don't have a picture on the front? Of course. You don't have a picture of the inside? Wasting your time. Sometimes people don't go back to old listings to see the price has changed. Yes, except for agents get a re-notification. So we, as agents, if a price changes and I have a search set up and you're in my criteria, I will get re-notified. So a price change will boost that. Can I show it again if you missed it? A price change will reboost this interest in the market. So if you like change a price on Friday, there's a good chance you're going to get a bump, and you wouldn't just have that steady decline. Another actual interesting fact, something I did this week, is I went through every single one of my listings, actually sold and not sold, so you don't know which ones they are. Offers and no offers, so you don't know which ones they are. And I changed the front picture. I changed the first picture on the listing just to be, maybe I changed it to what I thought was a different, better picture of the outside of the property, or a picture of the kitchen or something like that, just to kind of refresh it to go, hey. And this chart, I actually looked it up. Can I point to it properly? This chart, I went back in and I found there was a significant spike. Now, it never spikes back up to that level, to that first day on the market. First day on the market, you're entering the party. But it can refresh interest. But again, these stats here, or this graph, is from the public site. So this is not actually agents looking. So I don't actually rely on this as heavily, because let's face it, behind adult entertainment, real estate entertainment is probably the most searched thing on the internet. So I can't believe how many people I got watching right now. This is great. Thank you so much. Let's go back to this. If you have questions, put them in, like and subscribe, of course. I will let you know if you're interested in, or if you're a subscriber on the channel, I did finish my tenancy video today. I will not discuss that here because I am furious about it, and I don't want to look like a crazy wacko any more than I already look like a crazy wacko. What's the current amount of active listings on the market for the Fraser Valley? I have not looked today. Maybe I can bring it up. Let's see if I can figure out the powers of the internet. I looked yesterday, and it was almost just a hair under 7,700 active listings. And today, so here's how we do this. I'll show everybody how to do this. Not that you have access to this website. So this is Paragon, our backend system. You go into multi-class search, and you go Fraser Valley. Look at that, we're up again. 7,720 active listings. We started the year at about 3,600. So that definitely shows you that there's a whole lot of people at this party now, or that's not necessarily true. If we think of people at the party being people looking for a date, there used to be a whole lot of one group and a whole lot of people looking and not too many single people at the party. Now there's a whole lot of single people at the party and not too many people looking. So if that even makes sense, I don't think that makes sense. So yeah, we're seeing high active listings on the marketplace. I don't work Vancouver board often, outside of like Maple Ridge and Coquitlam and stuff. I don't work downtown or West Van or anything like that. I hear they're doing slightly better. Avoid dual agents. Smart plan, yes, agreed. Avoid dual agents. Also, dual agents illegal in BC. So NDP took care of that for you here. If you want to sell your house, maybe you bought another, I suggest you take first no condition offer. Suggest you take the first no condition offer. Not too many no condition offers in my market right now. I did get one this week, actually, and buyer rescission ends today. So that being said, of the 13 active listings, I had one no condition offer. So if you get any offer right now, that's the good one. I'm not saying you have to accept the price, because any buyer in this market is going to try and get the price down. You can't blame them for doing that. I'm not even saying that's market value. What I'm saying is there's a very good chance that if you get an offer, you should do your best to work with it. You should not be turning your nose up at any offer right now. Even if they're 10-day conditions right now, you gotta work with them, depending on your listing, of course, but talk to your agent about that. You might not see another offer. I agree. Love your content. Sneaky Pete, you're crazy. Thank you. What do you think about fourplexes in Surrey? This is a great question. So, actually just watched a video on an architect out of Burnaby that's starting to make the fourplexes. I have I have a few clients that are waiting for all the announcements in regards to fourplexes, because they believe that when all that stuff is ironed out, their property values are going to go up. Here's the problem with that thought. Everybody just got zoned for a fourplex. So you're no more special than you were just previously. So what's the point? If you were zoned for a fourplex and every other neighborhood was not zoned for a fourplex, your property value would go up. But everybody just got zoned for a fourplex. That being said, everything I'm hearing from Langley and Surrey, not so much Burnaby, but Langley and Surrey for sure, is the cities are just basically saying, hey, this is a great idea. We do not have the infrastructure. We don't have the electrical power to power these properties that are all not allowed to have natural gas and all have to have electric stoves and electric heat pumps ×4 on the property, electric washer and dryer. We don't have the electrical capacity, and we also don't have the sewer pipe or the water. So without any sort of services or infrastructure connected, I don't see it happening. I think the overall, in my estimation, is it's going to create very unlivable neighborhoods. Parking is already an issue everywhere. The finance minister told me while we were on the podcast that parking's not his problem. Or sorry, the housing minister. I get that, but that's pretty short-sighted. It is the way it is. I don't think fourplexes will be as big of a deal. I did see some super cool plans going on out there, but if there's going to be a fourplex, think about this for a second. The idea of bringing in the fourplex zoning is not so you can have nice livable homes. It's so you can have micro units all on the property, whether or not they're touching, not touching. They have their own yards, no yards. There's requirements for parking in some cities and not requirements in the other. It's not going to be nicer places to live. It's just going to be places to live. I think the real solution to, maybe this is a Surrey way of, a suburb way of thinking about it, but I believe the real solution to affordable housing is more low-rise wood frame construction. I just think that's the way it's going to be. Proper amounts of parking for people, get the parking under the building, relax the needs for amenities and all that junk. And, why do we need meeting rooms and all this pools and different stuff we just don't need it. Get rid of it. Bring in more low-rise, bring in 5 and 6 and 7 story low rises in more areas. And then heaven forbid we actually make them a livable size. I mean, I would never live in a condo under 800 square feet, unless it was a one bed, but it is what it is. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm not going quite yet because I see some people chatting here, but I do want to thank you for showing up. There's like almost 200 people listening to me on a bored, slow, hot Friday afternoon. Put your comments in and I will try and answer them. The reason, if you missed it at the beginning, which it looks like a lot of people did miss it at the beginning, the reason I wanted to bring this up is, or talk today, is the general feeling is prices will go down over the next, I'm going to say I'm pretty good at predicting 90 days. After 90 days, who knows what happens. But at this point in time, it looks like prices are going down. And if you ask too much in the beginning, you will sell for less later on. That's the easy way to not have to come back and watch this whole video in the beginning. Because I had charts and everything earlier on if you weren't watching. If you had to take a 5-year mortgage today, what type of mortgage would you pick? If you mean fixed or variable, I'm always fixed. I'm always fixed. I have switched a portion to a variable HELOC, which did very, very well for me because I could pay down way more than I ever thought possible. Just because, commission structure, when you're commission sales, you can pay down faster. There's no prepayment penalties. I paid off. I actually did the calculations. I talked about this on the podcast channel. I'm about $293,000 ahead of where I should be. And now I've lived in my property a long time. But I'm ahead because I pay down so hard, and I will pay more for like a TD mortgage that has like a 20% pay down. A lot of these discount mortgages don't, but variable, never. Don't do variable. No matter what people say, don't do variable. It's too risky for me. Unless you're later on in life. If you've owned real estate for 15 or 20 years, do a variable. But if you're a first-time buyer, definitely if you're an investor, the amount of investors that are getting crushed right now because they thought instead of that, that pesky 2.2%, I'm going to take a 1.8% variable. Never locked in. Ugh, it was rough. It is rough. Canada's big cities are low-rise markets, still much more competitive versus high-rise. Are the low-rise markets still much more competitive versus high-rise? Are they more competitive? I don't know. They're a different product. So I actually just had literally, maybe you're watching this now. I just got off the phone with somebody like right before I started the live stream, and I just said, listen, my preference personally is low-rise. I just think they're more livable. They have better square footages, better floor plans, and they don't have the insurance issues. That being said, most of the people coming to Canada to live right now, or coming to Surrey to live, most are from India or China, the overwhelming majority, or at least that region of the world. And they're used to concrete and they don't like wood frame. They don't understand wood frame. And that's why they pick concrete. Personally, low rise. The other portion of low rise that I like so much is that you can build them a lot faster. You can build them way faster than it takes to build a 7-year skyscraper somewhere. So low rise, big fan. So the city just approving applications. Don't really know what that means. City is not just approving applications. Share fourplex plans, please. I'm not a builder. I just tried to read the City of Surrey's multiplex 3, 4, 5, and 6 unit multiplex. Good luck to you. Trying to figure out what the heck you can build, what you cannot build. Lord help you. I may ask a guy. I mentioned earlier. I watched a guy that's actually an architect that's building these plans for Burnaby. They were really cool plans. He's on YouTube. You could probably find him. Might ask him to come on the podcast at one point. Isn't there an issue with growing populations regardless of whether it's a fourplex? Of course. We're pumping in way too many people into the country. Even the people coming into the country are saying we're pumping too many people into the country. So pre-pandemic, don't forget, we were between 260 and 293,000 people per year. And now we're at 1 million consistently for 2 years in a row. And there's no chance that they're I don't know, it's not stopping. They're trying to prop it up. Oh my goodness, I love this one. Hey Steve, can you compare Surrey with Halifax real estate conditions? Join the podcast. This special treat for you this Sunday coming up. Halifax, my understanding, is crushing it still. With so much supply of lands, I guess land assemblies got destroyed. No. Land assemblies got destroyed because cost of carrying got too high, and land assemblies are getting destroyed now because why the heck would you ever try and assemble? Like, my office is on 72 and Scott Road in Delta. There's all these like land assemblies down 72nd towards the freeway. Why would I, as a builder or a seller, why would I try and assemble 7 or 10 and do a townhouse project like of these single family detached homes when now I can just build a fourplex right there? I don't even need my neighbors anymore. I'm going to build a fourplex right there, do it myself. Maybe I'll live in one. Maybe I'll sell them all. So increased density killed increased density. Thank you very much, BCNDP. Electric ain't so bad. Heat pumps have higher efficiency. This is BS. Don't listen to it. Heat pump. Okay, let me tell you about my heat pump. Let me tell you about heat pumps. The Lower Mainland in BC has the, I don't know if it's the cheapest, our cheapest energy source is natural gas. It is. I pay the bill, I know. Well, before the carbon tax. In areas like Vancouver Island, they don't have natural gas. They literally have propane. So in those areas, heat pumps are efficient because you don't have access to natural gas. But if you had access to natural gas, they are it's a much cheaper version and of heat and energy, and people prefer it. No one comes to me and says, I want electric heat. Every single buyer I have of a detached home or a townhouse says, I want a gas-powered furnace. Every single, like, not a couple or not most, every single one. The heat pump propaganda is absolute BS, and it's disgusting to me because, for instance, I have a gas furnace in my house. I went to I got AC installed, and I said, okay, should I do a heat pump? And, my guy that installed the AC came to me and he said, listen, you're going to pay this much more for the heat pump. The AC unit is this. Just go with that. Now they've actually, put, I don't know if it's the right word is tariffs or what on AC units. It's just stupid. Stupid. It's propaganda. At least here. Maybe if you only have heat pump. I don't know how heat pumps work in minus 35 degrees. Tell me if you live in Saskatchewan and you're watching. Will you please make a deep down video on what the City of Surrey regulations on it? I don't know what that means. I did a variable and I regret it. I wish you watched the channel more. What are your thoughts on this is a good one. What are your thoughts on townhomes in the Fraser Valley? Right now, they are our strongest market. The reason they are our strongest market is they are our most affordable market for families. Families need somewhere to live. You can get 2 and 3 and 4 bedroom townhomes. They are not building crappier ones. They are building smaller ones, but they're not crappier like a lot of the new condos that you walk in and you're like, this is, the bedrooms are literally as big as my office, and I can touch both walls. Sorry. Should we name him? So I don't know. It's townhouses are a great market to be in. They are way better than they used to be. I would prefer to invest in a townhouse actually than a condo right now. Just because I like to buy stuff that I can move into. Also, BC government, David Eby, you want to move into your own property? Hold my beer. Wait for Monday's video. Not going to talk about tenancy here, Steve. I should probably wrap up, but I'm going to keep going because there is 230 people. I hope you guys click the like button a whole lot. Let's see if we can get this pumped up. In the next 5 to 6 months, what is your prediction for detached home prices in the Fraser Valley? Down is the answer. Percentage or absolute number? I have no idea. Let's hop back in. Let's look at the numbers. If you're joining us, I have this open, so I may as well share it. So this is the Fraser Valley over the last 10 years. And this is this is the city of Surrey. You want me to do the Fraser Valley? Let's line it up there. And this is detached housing. So Surrey is one of the closest cities towards Vancouver in the Fraser Valley. So as a result, it's higher priced than the rest of the Fraser Valley, but you can see that they track. Where's it going to go? I mean, let's go back to pre-pandemic. When is pre-pandemic? May, April, March, February. 1,075,000 was pre-pandemic, over 4 years ago now. Do I see it going back there? So are you waiting for a 60% decline or whatever that is, 50% decline? I don't see it going there. Do I see it dipping below January 23 after the interest rate hikes? Possibly. I mean, that would still be a $200,000 decline right now, which would be a heck of a lot. I don't see it being that bad. But we are definitely seeing a ton of inventory. More important than this, so here's our new listings, but this is the chart everybody's got to pay attention to. Let's see if I can go max on this. Now, this is detached, so this is the overall detached market. It's actually not that high yet. But if we go back and I do, like, for instance, apartments, you're starting to see, like, all that inventory, right? So now we're talking like apartments are similar to 2015, not as bad as 2010, and it's starting to round off. I do expect inventory to start going down. The reason I expect inventory to start going down, maybe not yet, but it never stays higher usually. The high point is usually June or July, and then by September every single year you've gone down. So I don't think you're going to see a lot of new inventory continue to stack up like it did over this last spring. Do you think we're going to see prices continue to cool? Yes. Where would you predict the bottom? I think I just answered that question. The bottom is not as low as the YouTube comments say it is. That's what it is. I think the reality to affordability coming back is likely stagnation over top of deflation of prices. So there's a very good chance that if we're going to see affordability come back, that could be a result of like the 1980s. You had that 1981 spike. If you actually look at the Fraser Valley charts, Fraser Valley Real Estate Board, you can go back and find those charts on their website. They're public. You see this crazy spike where house prices doubled in a year and then came right back down. We did that already, and then there was just stagnation for a while. I think we could see similar to that. Like I see a flattening over the coming years. I don't see anything that's going to drive us crazy up. I think the idea of interest rates coming down to save everybody right now is kind of silly, because interest rates generally only come down when you have a recession of some sort. Is Mission BC overpriced? Oh, somebody gave me a heart. Thank you so much. Give me more likes. Is Mission overpriced? Well, hey, since I'm here, let's take a look at Mission. Bear with me. And I guess I should switch this so you guys could see it. Mission, and let's go detached. And HPI. I mean, it's tracking with the market. It's obviously lower priced. Mission was insane. Chilliwack was insane during the pandemic. Like it tracked too high and then it came down. Like, look at this. Everybody that's waiting for the crash. Mission was at 1.35 in March of 2022. And then it dropped below $900,000 in January of 23. The crash happened. And look, Surrey doom and gloom right here. Even my old Surrey doom and gloom of this downturn, Mission's going back up. So, I mean, Mission's just far out there. Too far for me. Not too far for a lot of people. Am I getting interest from first-time home buyers? No. First-time home buyers right now are definitely on the lower side of things. Can I go back? There we go. First-time home buyers are definitely not as busy as they were last year. Last year, first-time home buyers, money was more expensive and houses were more expensive, and we had more first-time home buyers. I think that's actually what's the problem is right now. There's no first-time home buyer push from the bottom, and that's not letting the one beds get to the, two beds, not letting the two beds get to the 3-bed townhouses, the 3-bed townhouses getting to the detached houses. It's not happening. So I'm not seeing first-time buyers. It's actually an absence that I think we would love to see some more first-time buyers get into this. I don't know what all this is about. Oh, we're back on heat pumps. Nah, I'm done with it. Would it worry you if inventory continued to trend upwards instead of peaking all summer? What do you mean by worry me? Should it worry home prices if inventory continues to? Yeah, of course. It's simple. If home prices are, home prices are going to be connected to supply and demand. And if supply is high and demand is low, which is what's currently happening, it's at a 10-year low right now, then you're going to see prices come down. But you do need an extended period of time of that, right? Like if we immediately go back down to 3,500 listings again in December, and then they don't come back on because everybody's like, I'll stay put, we're going to see prices rise again. It's just a matter of demand and how much is going on. Let's see if I can look at new listings coming to the market. So this is kind of an interesting, I'm going to get Mission out of there and bring you guys back in. I can't believe there's 300 people watching right now. This is insane. Like and subscribe, 300 people. Here we go. Sorry, it's taking too long. So red line is Fraser Valley. Blue line is Surrey. This is the number of new listings coming to the market. The number of new listings coming to the market in the overall Fraser Valley, look at it. It peaked. It went really high. It actually went super high. And that's the issue, right? You just have a lot of listings coming to the market. Now, you also have a much higher population. So I do see this trending up anyway. I wish there was some way to kind of track that I don't know of. Like, what should it be in regards to population? I looked up the city of Surrey population the other day, and it said that it's like 606,000 people. And then that number was from 2016 or 2017. I'm like, it's probably double that now. Like, it's at least 900,000 people now. Like, and the question is, if it's not, what's the real number of people in? Because how many people are not even registered as living within the city? But sales is the actual issue here. So look at the amount of sales. This is why the market went crazy. Look at the amount of new listings coming to the market. It's actually really high, But then the amount of sales is really high. And now we're seeing the amount of sales dipping and the number of new listings soaring. So that's actually what's going on in the market. But I mean, what did somebody say to me? Somebody commented on the podcast channel the other day. We're going back to 1980s prices. Okay. All right. No, this was apartments. Let's look at the overall. Let's look at the overall new listings. Come on, internet. Okay, so that was just apartments. I totally screwed up and wasted your last 3 minutes. The number of new listings coming to the market was actually higher in 2021 and in 2022. And we're actually very much at like 2018 right now, which was not a great market. And now let's look at the number of sales of the overall market. That's the difference. So the number of, now condos are flooding on, but the overall number of listings total on the market, I mean, I guess detached is always going down because detached is getting torn down and condos are being built. But the amount of sales was just so high. So they were chewing up all of the inventory. The amount of inventory coming to the market's the same. It's just no sales, just no demand. Simple as that. Okay, I think I should wrap it up unless there's any final questions. I'm going to ask you to like and subscribe my Monday video. I would really love everybody to come back and watch. It's just as long. It's probably it's long. It's long. It discusses everything about the new tenancy laws that are brought in, how they are going to absolutely smash renters. Renters are going to be displaced, and it's all a result of tenant protections, which I know a bunch of people are going to disagree with, but it's a long, long, long video. I very much, I do think everybody should take a listen and really ingest what's going on there, because homeowner protections are being removed. Home property right protections are being removed, and all in the favor of tenants. And I can feel for tenants when they get evicted, but I do not ever think that a non-homeowner should have more rights than a homeowner, or a property owner. A non-property owner should have more rights than a. You would never do it with anything else, right? You wouldn't be like, by the way, you don't get access to your car because you own it. Somebody else should have access to it. Like, it's silly. So it's going to be a controversial video. I hope you watch it. And thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Signing off. Have a